Before I start this video this evening, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure, if you really like this channel, even if you don't, but if you want to support this channel, please make sure to subscribe. That's the best thing you can do to support this channel, support the message, is to subscribe. Hit that bell notification down below so that you are notified with the newest videos. And also, I'm dropping a new Patreon video later on this evening, so make sure you come over to Patreon, check that video out where I can talk a little bit more openly and freely about what's happening socially. So check that out. Let's get started. It's Thursday, March 11th, 2021. Well, we just witnessed the signing in of another $1.9 trillion of stimulus, more quantitative easing. And there are people out there that believe that everything is good, everything's okay. And I'm glad that there are people like that believe everything is okay, because it reinforces with me how asleep people really are. It reinforces with me how naive the average American is, and how so many people are just going to accept this wealth transfer. People who are losing everything right now believe things are okay. People losing their jobs, their savings, their retirement, believe everything is going to be okay. This is how naive the average American is. And these people are going to lose everything, and they're going along with the whole scam. Weekly jobless claims rise less than expected. That's some good news, isn't it? You know, someone commented earlier today and said that I've been talking about this collapse for 5 years. And just to give you an example of how ignorant people are, dumbed down they are, again, I'm not judging or making fun of anybody. There are people that have limited capacity, who don't have IQs maybe as high as yours or mine. And that's not to brag, it's just reality. There are people who have been brainwashed, duped, bamboozled, who believe everything they see on TV. They believe in cartoons. They believe in the Easter Bunny. There are people who really believe everything. They believe what that person, that economist or that analyst, on that business show with that fancy, $2,000 suit, they believe everything that they say. They believe everything is okay. But to this individual and to other individuals that believe that everything is okay, we just witnessed another 712,000 people last week file first-time unemployment claims, and you believe everything is okay. U.S. debt now has exceeded $28 trillion. $1.9 trillion of stimulus was signed today. If things are so good, how come we need another $1.9 trillion of stimulus? How come cities like Los Angeles, states like California, states like Illinois, cities like Chicago have to be bailed out? How come we are witnessing more quantitative easing if everything is okay? How come interest rates are staying at zero if everything is okay? How come millions of Americans are jobless? How come we've just watched thousands, hundreds of thousands of businesses wiped out permanently? And you believe that everything is okay. You sit there and criticize me for talking about this for 5 years. Over the last 5 years, we've watched nothing but more money printing, more quantitative easing, more debt. Global debt now, $277 trillion. You know, it's not a crisis, it's not a collapse as long as you have a job. But the minute you lose your job, now it's a crisis. Now it's a collapse. These people that make these judgments are so ignorant. Millions, tens of millions of people in this country right now are jobless. Millions, tens of millions of people in this country right now are not getting enough food. And yet people believe everything is okay. It just boggles the mind. It just really makes me shake my head when people make such audacious statements like that. Where have you been? Do you not take a drive, outside of your neighborhood to see what's going on? I took a drive today. I had to go do some training. Hopefully you come over to Patreon, put out a really good video today. Check that video out. But as I was going over to do some training, which the training center that I go to is 6 miles away maybe, I passed, and this is no exaggeration, at least 6 encampments, small ones, 6 encampments from my house here in Palm Desert to where I train, 6 miles away. 6 encampments and an RV parked out in the middle of the desert with more tents around it. So what we're seeing in urban cities is beginning to come out, to suburbia. It's starting to come out to areas that never saw these kind of things, never saw tents, never saw people sleeping in boxes, never saw people sleeping in RVs. So these people who believe that everything is okay, things are recovering, that people like me have been talking about this for 5 years. Here's a newsflash. Things never recovered from 2008. So you can go back 13 years ago, and things at that point were already broken and have never recovered. We put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound, printed trillions and trillions of dollars to try and cover and paper over this problem that's never going away. And all we're doing is making it worse. But people out there, it's unbelievable how dumbed down people really are. And again, I'm not judging you. I pray for you. I really hope that you get out of the basement. I hope that you look out your front window and see what's really, really going on. So I don't know where you live, but if you're living in Beverly Hills, West LA, if you're living out here in Palm Desert, if you're living even in South Orange County, guess what? You're seeing tents. You're seeing homeless. You're seeing food lines popping up in your cities. Stimulus checks could start hitting bank accounts this weekend, White House says. This is how fast they got to get the money to people, hoping that you're going to go out and spend it at Target and Kohl's and Best Buy and Walmart. They're gonna try to get this money in people's hands starting this weekend. But remember, most of this money is not going to be put in your hands. It's going to be put in cities like Chicago and Los Angeles, and states like California and Illinois and so on that have completely robbed their taxpayers, spending all that money, looting all that money, and bankrupting states and cities and local municipalities, and raising your taxes in the meantime, while they continue to just spend your money and rob you of your money, while they live in multi-million-dollar homes and mansions, while they have net worths of multi-millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're continuing to loot us. And now they're being rewarded with stimulus. So now they can go out and plunder even more money while your highways and freeways and infrastructure breaks apart, while you have to wait in a food line to get food, and while you're going to be thrown the crumbs of $1,400. 37% of Main Street investors plan to pour their stimulus money directly into Wall Street, right back into the Wall Street casino. So it's amazing. The government is going to give people money, and what are they going to do? They're going to spend that money at Walmart and Best Buy and Kohl's and Target and et cetera on products made in other countries. So other countries are going to profit from all this stimulus. You will not profit. You will continue to be a debt slave. You will continue to get deeper and deeper into debt, while countries like China and other parts of the world get wealthier and wealthier because the government is going to throw us some crumbs. But 37% of Main Street investors plan to pour their stimulus money back into the casino. So the casino, again, dependent on the government, dependent on the Fed to keep it all going. What a scam. We got to pay people now, hope that they invest that money in Wall Street to keep the whole illusion going. We got to pay people some crumbs so they can continue to go to Walmart and make China wealthier. The hedge today, U.S. households' wealth hits record $130 trillion as top 1% have never been richer, while poor drown in debt. You know, many Americans feel wealthy today because their home prices, the home values have gone up. And we've got a lot of people who have become more wealthy on paper. Their money markets, their 401ks, their stocks, their homes have gone up on paper, and they feel wealthy and they feel good and they feel like nothing bad is going to happen, and this is very, very dangerous, because what's going to happen is home prices are going to adjust. They are going to correct. We are going to see a collapse. And what's going to happen to these people who today feel wealthy, but tomorrow they wake up and their home price has just dropped 50%, 60%. They're not going to be so wealthy. The stock market corrects, which it will. And when it does, these paper millionaires are not going to be millionaires. You know, somebody who bought a house a couple years ago for $200,000, and 5 or 6, 7 years later, now it's worth $500,000. They feel good. They feel wealthy. But what's it based on? It's based on massive quantitative easing, massive money printing, massive stimulus injections, dependent on that money going right back into the casino, that money going back into Walmarts and Kohl's and making people feel good, giving them a little sugar high. Maybe they're going to go out and put that money down on a car and get deeper and deeper into debt. But what's all this based on? It's not based on a booming economy. What's the housing market based on? I see more tenants. Another 712,000 people last week filed first-time jobless claims. We're losing 800,000 jobs a week, tens of millions of people unemployed, massive debt piling up by the minute. So what is making the housing market continue to surge? Is it because they're counting refis as sales? Is it hedge funds buying massive amounts of homes, investors buying homes? Is the average American really going out and buying a home? Please comment down below. Let me know. Is the average American buying a home in this environment? Or is it hedge fund money? Is it investment money? Is it refis? Because when we're losing 800,000 jobs a week, not a month, a week, how in the world can you have a vibrant real estate market? I don't quite understand it. And when we look at the jobs that are coming back and people going back to work, it's in leisure and hospitality, $10 and $12 an hour jobs. And I'm sorry, I believe the average median price of a house now in America is around $360,000, $370,000. You're going to need to make more than $10 or $12 an hour. But again, people feel wealthy on paper. Their home prices are going up. Their stocks are going up. Their cryptos are going up. But I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, how quickly this can turn and how quickly people who today feel wealthy tomorrow are going to feel wiped out. More families than ever have zero or negative non-home wealth. So what happens to people's wealth when the housing market crashes? Their wealth crashes. They are making people feel rich by pushing these home prices up, by pushing the stock market up. The 1% will get much wealthier during the next housing crash because they're going to scoop homes up by the millions. And while the average American was duped into buying a home living paycheck to paycheck, they're going to learn a very, very, very valuable lesson. The Hedge today, another article, a grim look at the exploding U.S. budget deficit. But again, these people tell me, don't talk about this. You've been talking about this for years. Don't worry about debts and deficits. Global debt at $277 trillion, U.S. debt at $28 trillion, nearly $200 trillion of U.S. debt if you count unfunded liabilities like Medicare and Medicaid. Don't talk about the pension crisis, all the unfunded pensions in America. Don't talk about it. That's negative. Nobody wants to hear about it. So let's all just enjoy the party. If nothing from left field hits this economy, this is what could happen according to the Congressional Budget Office. This is nothing bad happens. No recession, no depression. This is what could happen, but we're already in a depression. So this is going to be expedited. The CBO projects that 4 major funds will be insolvent in the next 14 years. The Highway Trust Fund would be insolvent by 2022. Medicare Hospital Insurance Trust Fund would run out of money by 2026. Social Security, Old Age and Services Insurance and Disability Insurance Trust Fund would run out of money by 2032 and 2035 respectively. Social Security is projected to run out of money by 2032. This is if we do not have another recession. This is if we don't have a depression. Guess what? We're past recession. We're in depression right now. This is all going to be expedited. These services are going to be insolvent. They're going insolvent right now. These funds are in very, very big trouble. Your pensions are in very, very big trouble. But again, we shouldn't talk about it. We shouldn't talk about debts, deficits, collapses, preparation, and so on. Ladies and gentlemen, I will never stop talking about it. You are in very, very serious danger if you are not preparing for this collapse. Time is not your friend. Time is running out. A massive economic storm is coming. It has begun. Look out your window. Take a drive around. I don't have to tell you. You know, 98% of you know. Many of you know more than I do, that's for sure. You see it. I see the comments. What you are writing and reporting happening in your areas, your states, it should remind all of us and reinforce the idea with all of us to prepare, prepare, prepare. It's not coming. It's already here.